Donald Trump just gave one of the most disastrous Fox interviews you'll ever see, and it tells you everything about his strategy. When the truth gets too close, when the facts don't line up with his narrative, he pivots into chaos. And this week, the truth was unavoidable, because the shooter responsible for the killing of Charlie Kirk has been identified. And guess what? He's not who Trump and MAGA world spent days fear-mongering about. The suspect is Tyler Robinson, 22 years old, from Utah. A Republican household, gun culture. His father, a retired sheriff, turned him in. Tyler even dressed up as Donald Trump for Halloween in the past. In other words, the exact opposite of the radical leftist, trans, immigrant, caricature MAGA influencers immediately invented online. So, with that reality crashing down, Trump walks into his Fox interview with one goal: change the subject. Asked about Putin's drones landing in Poland, Trump's response wasn't just incoherent. It was pure Kremlin propaganda.
We're going to fix this system.
What are you going to do about President Putin? Because we just saw these drones in Poland.
Yeah, well,
more sanctions.
Thing, I mean, I'm not going to defend anybody, but the Poland's, they were actually knocked down and they fell into an area. But you shouldn't be close to Poland anyway.
Right.
So I solved, as you know, 7 wars. 7. I did so many, including Pakistan and India, but big ones.
The drones did enter Poland. Poland has already invoked NATO Article 4. And the United States, under Article 5, is legally obligated to defend our allies. But Trump shrugs it off, parroting Putin's excuses. That is not just wrong. In normal political times, that would be front-page news. That would be an impeachable moment. The frontrunner of a major party excusing Russia's aggression against NATO territory? That's aiding and abetting America's enemy. But Trump wasn't done. He pivoted to his greatest hits: lies about elections. He claimed California doesn't even have ballot boxes, that the state just mails out 38 million ballots to nowhere.
You know, there are a lot of problems. I like ballot boxes where they do mail-in voting all over the place, which is rigged. Anytime, right. Jimmy Carter, they had a commission. He said, anytime you have mail-in voting, it's a crooked election, okay? And they got to stop. But I say, so I can't really say the ballot box, because in some cases, like California doesn't have ballot boxes. They send out 38 million ballots. Nobody knows where the hell they're going. Then they come back. Democrats get more than Republicans.
Right.
It's so unfair, the system, and we're going to fix this system.
Completely false. California has secure ballot drop-off locations across the state, on top of mail-in systems with chain of custody protections. Representative Zoe Lofgren called Trump's rant lazy. She's right. But the laziness is the point. The goal is to create so much disinformation that fact-checking can't keep up. Then, Trump claimed he saved Los Angeles during the wildfires by turning on a faucet from the Pacific Northwest.
You had a decision in San Francisco that said you're not allowed to use the National Guard, the military in California, and you're waiting for that decision on the appeal. Does that...
We've been winning all those decisions. We just won one against Newsom.
You're waiting for it, and a lot of people think that it's just a matter of time, but you're appealing it. Are you waiting for that appeal to go your direction so you can put the National Guard and don't have to worry about the courts telling them to...
We're really not. We think we're going to win all of them, and we have been winning all, and we just won one against Gavin Newsom, who's been terrible. Look, if we didn't go into L.A. a few months ago, you wouldn't have the Olympics there. They lost 25,000 houses to fires because they didn't have the water come down from the Pacific Northwest. They have a lot of water, but they send it out into the Pacific to protect a little tiny fish, right? Which did very badly when it didn't have any water, by the way.
Right.
But just the whole thing is so crazy. You wouldn't have lost any houses. You would have had a fire. They would have had sprinklers going. They would have had fire hydrants.
What Trump actually did after the fires were contained was order the Army Corps of Engineers to drain reservoirs in Central and Northern California, water that never even flows to L.A., dumping billions of gallons farmers needed for drought recovery. And now he brags about it as if he's some firefighter in chief. Then came his tariff fantasy. Trump claims tariffs made America rich, that they brought in trillions of dollars, and that if the Supreme Court rules against him, the U.S. will owe trillions to foreign countries.
We've done a great job, despite the fact that we should have lower interest rates. Now, we have two things. We've been successful because of the tariffs. It's given us a great power to negotiate with other countries that took advantage of us. Tremendous power. Also, it's brought in trillions of dollars into our country. We have a big case brought by foreign governments because the foreign governments have been ripping us off for years, and it's now in the Supreme Court. That case is really important to win because it's made us a rich country. It's made us a rich country. because I don't want to call it retribution, but we've been ripped off.
Trying to rebalance.
We've been ripped off for years by countries and by having presidents that were not smart in a business sense. I'm not saying they were good politicians, but they were stupid businessmen. They allowed the world to rip us off. If we don't, that Supreme Court case is so important. And frankly, this economy, if we win the tariff case, which we should on the legal merits, but on common sense merit, we would have to give back trillions of dollars
to these countries.
What do you imagine?
All those deals.
We would have to give back trillions and trillions of dollars because we got it because of tariffs.
That's not how tariffs work. Tariffs are a tax on American importers. U.S. businesses pay the bill, and they pass it on to consumers. That's why prices go up. But then Trump went even further. Asked about Washington, D.C., he said, "I can change the mayor if I want. I can do whatever I want."
So, Mr. President, now the 30 days is up. And does everything,
well, the mayor's asked us to stay.
Well, how do you?
So we have a Democrat mayor who's asked us to stay. And D.C.'s a little bit different because I could federalize it if I want. You know, D.C.'s a little bit different. So we have a lot. We have actually more power in D.C. because it's, you know, I can change the mayor if I want. I can do whatever I want. I haven't had to.
Finally, when asked again about Putin, Trump bragged that he slapped a 50% tariff on India for buying Russian oil, which does nothing to punish Russia. It only punishes Americans buying imported goods and pushes India closer into Putin's arms. Strategic genius, right?
Does your patience run out with Putin?
Yeah, it's sort of running out and running out fast, but it does take two to tango. It's amazing. When Putin wants to do it, Zelensky didn't. When Zelensky wanted to do it, Putin did. Now Zelensky wants to, and Putin is a question mark. But we're going to have to come down very, very strong. It's the only one. This is the one, because I've always had a great relationship with Putin. This is the only war that I haven't solved. Now, let's get into Gaza, because that's another one. So those are two that are.
Before you move on, can I ask you,
complex.
what is clamping down on Vladimir Putin?
Well, it'll be hitting very hard with sanctions to banks and having to do with oil and tariffs also. But I've already done it. I've done a lot. Look, India was their biggest customer. I put a 50% tariff on India because they're buying oil from Russia. That's not an easy thing to do. That's a big deal. And it causes a rift with India, you know. And remember this. This is a Europe problem, much more than our problem.
This is the guy leading the Republican Party, a man who shrugs off NATO obligations, lies about elections, fabricates water rescues, sabotages farmers, spreads Soros conspiracies, fantasizes about absolute power, and can't go 10 minutes without rambling about golf or ballrooms.